Hi, Mike DePung here, and welcome back to Spirit Hill, a place where we can meet together and where I can share some things about my healing journey, healing that we all want and experience. And I've spent the last couple of videos, the first three of this series, talking about kind of the philosophy behind it, behind healing, behind my beliefs concerning it. And now today I want to just give you a practical example of the way this works. See, I believe that spirits are all about us and that spirit itself is manifested all about us in everything. And that this is a very real thing. And spirits, they're unseen entities, energies that are around us, besides the things that are common natural elements that have the essence of spirit. And if we want, we can ask, and those spirits will help us. They will help us to understand ourselves. They will help us to understand what's going on, not only on a personal level, but a collective level. We will have insights. And we can see what resonates with us, and we can order our lives based on that. We can create based on that because we all have the innate ability to create. And that's part of our healing. We want to heal to the point where we can enjoy all of this that we came to understand and enjoy and create new things, new ways. And yesterday, I was feeling really kind of down about some things, and I asked for help. And I think that Spirit uses whatever are our strengths, whatever things we may be familiar with, whatever things we attune ourselves to and say, I want to find meaning in this. And so yesterday, I had asked for help to understand the things that I was feeling. Specifically, that sometimes I write, and I've written hundreds and hundreds of articles, and I think, why aren't people more responsive? And you know what? That's not any of my business, really, in many ways. What I do know is I have to ask, why do I care? Why do I need to do these things? Why do I need to write? Why do I need to make these videos? The answer is I don't need to. The real answer is I want to, because I am Michael Foster DePung, because I am myself. This is the essence of me. I'm a communicator. I'm a teacher. I like to explore and discover, and then I like to share my discoveries. Maybe it's just to the universe. But my point is this. I am very familiar with poetry, with literature. I am not the most versed in many things, but I do know Walt Whitman pretty well. And so when I thought about these things yesterday, I thought, why isn't the essence, all the things that I feel inside, why don't they come out? Why aren't they projected onto the page or onto a video? And this is what I just turned. I started searching, and boom, this is the way Spirit works. I resonated with a poem that I hadn't paid a lot of attention to before, and it's called Eidólons. Eidólons is a word that means, it's from the ancient Greek, that has to do with this spirit essence of things, almost like a ghost, an image, but it's like, what is the true essence? And that true essence can't be seen. It very much fits with the things that I believe. And I view different authors and writers from a metaphysical standpoint. I see that they believe and valued, with tweaks and with their eccentricities, seasoned with who they were as a person or who they are as a person. And yet I see the resonant qualities of spirit in this. And that's what Eidólons has to do. It has to do with spirit. And there's spiritual substance in all of the 3D things that we see, the works, the things that people make, that we create, that we do on a daily basis, has our essence imbued into them. They have their own essence that comes from us. And here, let me read a little bit of it, and let's just think about this for a minute together, because this was part of my healing. This was an encouragement for me. This was an answer from Spirit for me. And I would encourage you to seek those kinds of things when you have questions. No matter how you're feeling, you don't have to feel spiritual. You can feel like total crap, and you ask Spirit for help, and you will get it. And so here's the way this poem begins. I met a seer, passing the hues and objects of the world, the fields of art and learning, pleasure, sense, to glean Eidólons. Put in thy chance, said he, no more the puzzling hour, nor day, nor segments, parts put in. Put first before the rest as light for all, an entrance song of all, that of Eidólons. So what he does is he runs into this seer of some sort, which I would take as Spirit, and he says, I want to understand all that's about me in this world, in this 3D world, all this physical stuff. He said, I know that there is more than just what you can see and taste and touch and feel and hear. And he discovers that there's a spiritual essence. Ever the dim beginning, ever the growth, the rounding of the circle, ever the summit and the merge at last to surely start again. Eidólons, Eidólons. And he says that everything is a circle. Everything comes back. There's a unity, and that unity is the Spirit essence that everything and everyone is and has. And he says about this eternality and this universality, ever the mutable, ever materials changing, crumbling, recohering, ever the ateliers, the factories divine, issuing Eidólons. So he says, everything changes, it seems. Everything mutates, it crumbles, but it all comes back together because all is connected by Spirit. And boy, did I ever need that encouragement yesterday to realize this, that it's all connected by Spirit. And even factories divine, he recognizes Spirit in factories. Something that we would look at a factory and think about all that's going on in there and what's being made, and we don't think about it from a spiritual standpoint. The point is, I think in this world today, in terms of me personally, this was an encouragement to me, but oftentimes the things that we see when we get revelations from Spirit, when we get understanding, when we read, when we seek, when we explore and discover, we realize that there's an application to the collective. And part of what's going on in the collective right now, the things that are happening in the news, the sorrows, the heartaches, the harshness, the bitterness, all of it has to do with we are at a point collectively where there are many who want to understand what's going on, and they seek more than just what's on the surface. They seek more beyond what has been built in a system of colonialization and patriarchy, and they say there's more to it than just gaining wealth, just building wealth, and just grasping after power and fame and fortune. Hi, Mike DePung here. There was an interruption yesterday when I was going over the first part of this poem I wanted to share. By the way, I didn't mention that it's National Poetry Month, but it's also something that Spirit uses, that my heart seeks when I need direction, when I need some sort of guidance in my heart, and the unseen energies about me, they guide me to things that I need. And that's exactly what I was talking about yesterday. And I realized that as I got a little reminder while I was recording that I had a client coming up. In fact, I had 2 clients in a row. So I'm continuing now. That's why there's this break in there. But I'm going to join the 2 together. I don't know how to do a splice and fade and all that kind of fancy stuff yet. I'm trying to learn. Didn't understand it when I tried to look at it earlier, but I will figure it out. What I was doing was looking at the poetry of Walt Whitman, a specific poem that is difficult for me to pronounce, quite honestly. It's Eidólons. Eidólons. The second syllable is accented. And this idea of an eidolon is one of the real spiritual essence of everything, of everyone and everything. And Walt Whitman had a great way of presenting this, of showing this and everything. He connected with it, he understood it. And it's exactly what I needed when I had some challenges, especially yesterday morning. So I'm going to just read a little bit more, and I'm going to talk about it as I read along. I won't read the whole poem because it would get too long and boring probably. But here it is. He had been speaking of these Eidólons, the spiritual essence of things. And he continues and he says, the manifestation, ostent, evanescent, the substance of an artist's moods, are savants' studies long, are warriors, martyrs, heroes' toils, to fashion his Eidolon. The essence of what a warrior fights for, of what the battle's won, or what somebody dies for, or what somebody works for, what they produce, like an artist would produce, are the outcome of the studies of someone. All of those only reveal what is deep within it. It's only a little bit. The real essence is what is inside. So they give insight. What is here in this 3D world is not the reality. The deepest reality is what is within. And so he goes on and says, of every human life, the units gathered, posted, not a thought, emotion, deed left out. The whole are large or small, summed, added up in its Eidolon. If you really want to know something, you got to hit it on a spiritual level. And that doesn't mean that we don't work, that we can't do things, and that we don't have some sense of who a person is by what they do. But in a way, it's a mystery. It's something deep within, and there's a connection. There's this idea of resonance, that you have this frequency that you are in sync with a work or a view, or with some sort of personal interaction. And Walt goes on to say that there are densities, growth, facades, strata of mountains, soils, rocks, giant trees, far born, far dying, living long, to leave Eidolons everlasting. These Eidolons that last forever. Everything has it. And what he is saying is that there's this essence of all things, not just in people, but also in the natural world, of natural things, of mountains and soil and rocks and trees. There's spirit. And he goes on to say, all space, all time, the stars, the terrible perturbations of the suns, swelling, collapsing, ending, serving their longer, shorter use, filled with Eidolons only. So even the universe, the stars, the constellations, they have this spirit essence. It's no wonder that we can look for guidance, that we can look for help, that all around us, it's there because, well, we'll get to that. He goes on to say, the noiseless myriads, the infinite oceans where the rivers empty, the separate countless free identities like eyesight, the true realities, Eidolons. So there is, in this 3D world, we realize that it's not the real essence. It's, in a sense, an illusion. We're living a dream. The real life is spirit life, is what we have, what we contain within, that can't be seen with the physical eyes, with the five senses. So he goes on to say, not this the world, not this where we are, not this video, not this the world, not these the universes, they the universes, the purport and end, ever the permanent life of life, Eidólons, Eidólons. So the real essence, real life is the spirit part. And there's a lot I could read in between here, but I'm going to skip down. And he says, thy body permanent, thy body lurking there within thy body, the only purport of the form thou art, the real I myself, an image, an eidolon. So he says, there's this body lurking within the body. Here's my physical body, but my real self, my real body, it's something you can't see. That the 3D world just gives indication, gives insight, gives a gateway, a portal into what real life is, what the real essence is, what we come here to experience. It's wonderful to experience the 3D world, but we realize that that is just a projection of what spirit is, where we came from, and what we really are. And he ends with this. Thy very songs, not in thy songs, no special strains to sing, none for itself, but from the whole resulting, rising at last and floating, a round, full-orbed eidolon. So he says, Walt says, my poems, my songs, what I write, they aren't the real songs, but they give a sense. They sing in harmony with all else, because and here is the point. Everyone and everything contains this spirit essence. And through our own spirit essence, heart, we can access all of this spirit essence around us and everything. So when I work for healing and love and light, when I can meet with others on Spirit Hill, this place of healing in love and light, we do it not through just physical means, but we do it by accessing the essence of who and what we really are. And we can call on all of this world around us, other people, others who can do things like whatever it might be, ways to access this spirit essence, whether they be astrologers, those who can read the stars and the movements of the planets and the asteroids and the constellations, the sun and the moon, those who can do things like access these energies of life in other ways, the shamanic traditions, and those who can read cards, the energies of life that are bound. Energies of life are accessible all around us in many ways. One that I needed yesterday was this poem, and to be reminded that I really have this desire, this essence to heal. And when I was feeling like, hey, I'm making no contact, I'm making no inroads, I have no little connections with other people, yet I realize I have all connections with other people. It's there. And that encouraged me, and that was exactly what I needed for yesterday and for today too, when I woke up still thinking about these things. So this is Walt Whitman. Tomorrow is the 15th, and Walt Whitman wrote a really major poem that I probably will spend a little bit of time talking about tomorrow. I hope that you will be there to see it, that you will come and join me here on Spirit Hill, because it's a little bit of the healing that Walt did that can instruct us about our own healing. So thanks for being here.